and good evening to Sports Today. My name is Ridhima Pathak. And if you're an Indian cricket team fan, I'm sure you'll be pretty happy with the overall performance of Team India today. So let's dive straight away into the analysis of day two of the first test that's going on. I've got Bore Majumdar, Pragyan Oja, and Deep Das Gupta joining me. Good evening, gentlemen. And let's dive straight into the man sort of who made headlines today for us. And because it's a bowler, I'm going to go to Pragyan. How was Ashwin for you today, Pragyan? Do you think Australia sort of underestimated him?
No, he was brilliant. I'm very sure Australia wouldn't have underestimated him because, he's got more than 350 wickets and he's been good. And if you look at his record in Adelaide, he's picked wickets. It's not that, he's someone who's not done well there. And I think the difference was maybe, before Steve Smith and these guys could settle down, Ashwin got the better of them.
Yes, indeed. In fact, a lot of people and a lot of experts, Burada, had said that it's going to be a matchup with Steve Smith and Jasprit Bumrah. But how good was Ashwin for you? In fact, the way Australia started, I would say that Ashwin was the game changer for us today.
Obviously he was spectacularly good, as Pragyan said. It is never one individual versus one individual. Never in your lifetime. Even after Virat Kohli comes back, if you think India will be a pushover and it's gone, no, it won't be. Because that's the nature of cricket. I mean, each of these people are very proud performers and look at their records. I mean, that is why when we were on our show yesterday, Pragyan and I, and somebody asked, should Ajinkya Rahane have sacrificed his wicket? For God's sake, why? He's a number 5 batsman. He will be your captain. He's a top international batter. So Ashwin was spectacular. I don't think Australia underestimated. Having said that, it was not simply Ashwin. Those 2 wickets by Bumrah. And if you just take that 1%, India did 99% spectacular. That 1%, and what is that 1%? The catching. If you did that well, this could have been a 70, 80, 90 run lead. The Prithvi Shaw drop, that Bumrah drop. I mean, the number of drops that you've seen today, had you not done that? I mean, it was brilliant. And I think it was Umesh. Think about it. A partnership was brewing. Umesh came there and picked up that crucial wicket, broke that partnership. I thought it was a proper team effort. Having said that, Steve Smith obviously is the key wicket and Ashwin picked that. He was brilliant.
Yep. Deep, Ashwin for you. And especially take me through his spell and the wickets through his conventional off spin.
I think what I really liked about Ashwin, and Pragyan can elaborate on that, is the pace variation. On a surface like this, you're not going to get a lot of turn. But what you will get is that bounce. And the way he used the bounce, the way he used the drift with his pink ball, again, Pragyan has bowled with that pink ball. It does not turn a lot, but what it does give you is a little bit of drift. It will give you that drift, and that drift and that dip was phenomenal. The pace that he bowled between 82 to 88 kilometers an hour was a perfect pace on this surface. The line was immaculate, just outside off stump. I was seeing on broadcast, they were comparing the line of Nathan Lyon and Ashwin. See, Ashwin is not someone who turns the ball as much as Nathan Lyon does in these conditions. So his line was a little straighter. But I thought the pace that he bowled, the variation of pace was absolutely brilliant. And obviously, he worked with that drift and that bounce that he got. I'm so glad. And this is something that he needs to carry on. If you remember, England first test, he did well. Australia first test, he did well. South Africa first test, he did well. I mean, there is no argument about the quality of Ravichandran Ashwin. It's the consistency. And if he can keep going like this, listen, Nathan Lyon versus Ravichandran Ashwin is also a subplot in this whole test series. And that game is on.
Absolutely. Yep. Good point made.
Absolutely. Those are all brilliant points. Would you like to sort of elaborate on that, Pragyan, on his spell and his technique?
Yes. If you look at Nathan Lyon, he comes wider to the stumps. His line is more of outside off stump. He depends on the conventional spin. But if you look at Ashwin depends on those flippers, those carom balls, and then off spin. So when you are looking to do all this, you cannot go outside off stump, because if you go outside off stump, then your conventional off spin, that is only one ball that will be effective. But if you are on the stumps, like on the off stump or maybe on the fourth stump, that's when your carom ball and your flippers will be important because Ashwin looks to get those LBWs as well. But if you look at Nathan Lyon, he was bowling outside off stump. He was looking to get batsmen out at this, short leg slip. That's where he was aiming. He was trying to get those bounce with those conventional off spin. But Ashwin has always been close to the stumps, and his weapon are these three. Off spin. Obviously, he's an off spinner, but carom ball and this one, the flipper. That's what is difference between these two guys.
Yeah, yeah. Now let's just talk about the man that I know that Borada absolutely loves, and that's Virat Kohli. While the run out yesterday made headlines, but I think his catch today is going to make a bigger headline. And also the fact that, I feel that he's got various switches when it comes to T20, when it comes to ODI, and when it comes to Test. There's a different switch that goes on when he plays Test cricket, Borada.
Firstly, you said, I don't think there's anybody in world cricket who doesn't love that man, right? Number one, because he is the brand ambassador for the international game and is the character who will bring people into the stands. Somebody who has that ability is standout. Secondly, if you see your team is dropping dollies and the captain takes that, looks at the crowd, does that hat drawn, and is basically a signal being sent to a Prithvi Shaw that look, and did you see that reaction and Prithvi Shaw dropped that? There were a couple of abuses, and correctly so, because he was irritated, and that was a crucial one. Virat Kohli is great for cricket. Make no mistake. And you asked about white ball and red ball. Look, he's the best white ball finisher that cricket will ever see, perhaps, or has seen. There's no debate. Even after that, he's achieved everything in white ball cricket except the World Cup, which perhaps he will. But if you go and ask him, what is your legacy or which format do you want to play and want to make a real mark in, 100 times out of 100, he will say Test match cricket. That's why he's so good. Because even in this age of commercialism, when he's the biggest brand, he will say the conventional, which is red ball, pink ball, 5-day format, is the best. Virat Kohli is just spectacular.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Also, Deep, his captaincy today with the way he rotated the bowlers.
I think, we don't speak enough of his captaincy. I think today he was absolutely brilliant, the way he used all his bowlers. Credit to the bowlers. You mentioned about Ashwin. We spoke about Ashwin, but let's not forget, everyone did their job. Even someone like Umesh Yadav. After that pressure that was created by Bumrah and Shami, Umesh came in and kept the pressure on. He bowled beautifully as well today. I think everyone bowled really well. And I think the way he led the side, the bowling changes, the spells, the length of the spell as well. At times I felt Bumrah bowled extra couple of overs, but then the pressure was on. So I think the captaincy bit as well. I think Virat was absolutely brilliant the way he led the side today.
Yep, absolutely. Now, we've got the comment section buzzing with the fact that everybody's disappointed in Prithvi Shaw. Here's a question and we've got a lot of people saying that, and here's a question that probably Pragyan can take, or anyone. There's a question from Arun Kumar saying that, guys, now we can clearly know what is wrong with Prithvi. His bat is not coming down on time and straight to defend a pacey incoming delivery. How can he adapt and change his technique from here on?
I think for me, it is more to do with his mind, because he's not there. Right from the start, he was not comfortable. If you look at other players like a Shubman Gill or anybody, they were confident. The biggest example is, look at the confidence that Bumrah showed just now to us as a night watchman. The way he was defending those balls, that's because that confidence you have. It's all in the mind. Technique and the skill doesn't go out overnight. Best of the batsmen, they go through this phase, but how you come out of it, how you address it is more important. He's a young man. There is a serious concern where, he has to go out and work. And I feel, technique is like 30%, but 70% or maybe 80%, it's in the mind. He is not there mentally. That's what I can clearly feel.
What about you?
Okay. Yeah, so if I may add, from a very technical perspective, listen, there are two kinds of batsmen. One is beside the ball and behind the ball. Beside the ball, you're very handsy. For example, Rohit, Shubman Gill, a lot of new generation batsmen, because you want to play as many deliveries as possible. You're attacking, so you want to get beside the line of the ball, your body. Now, what happens is then if you miss the line, there is naturally a big gap between bat and ball. Right? Look at Mayank. He also plays beside the line, but the bat comes down nicely and he picks the line well. Now, problem is when you're beside the line batsman and you don't pick the line well and you miss the line, then there will be naturally a gap created between bat and ball. So when you're behind the line batsman, or you get behind the line, you always have your body as the second a second defense line of defense, if you might call it. So that's what is happening with Prithvi as of now. Mind, obviously, as Pragyan mentioned, there could be an issue and he needs to look into that. But technically speaking, that's a challenge. The idea is not to change. You can't.
Yeah, I think we're having a technical glitch there. But he was just explaining the flaw in the technique and how can he correct that, which comes to which Burda, I'd like to ask you, because I'd seen your tweet yesterday also where you expressed your disappointment in the man. There's also a question that one of our viewers has asked, then what makes him the first choice above Shubman Gill?
No, again, they had to go with Prithvi Shaw. He was your incumbent opener in New Zealand. If you want to drop someone, you've got to give him a run and then drop. Take a conscious call that you will not. Look, if you played Shubman Gill, there is no 100% certainty that Shubman Gill would have scored runs, number one. Number two, suppose Shubman Gill did not, what would you do? You'll go back to Prithvi Shaw, because he was your incumbent opener in New Zealand. So again, Shubman Gill has not scored. I will go back to Prithvi Shaw. That's not how international cricket is run. Now, you know that, okay, this guy clearly has a problem. Pragyan said yesterday, and I know why Pragyan said yesterday, that he might even get one more game. Maybe personally, I think it's done for him. Because of the fielding, because of the way he got out, because of what Pragyan just said, mentally he's not there. If you see that first ball, which he got off Mitchell Starc, normally Prithvi Shaw would get a 4 of that ball. It was down leg, gone 4. He was not even there in that ball. He's scared. He looks scared. He's dropped a dolly. He's got a handful from his captain. He's clearly under pressure with the bat. He knows he's not scored. And he's 21 years old. So if you place yourself in the predicament of Prithvi Shaw, mentally he's not there. He's fear. Fear has taken over the mind. And once the mind has fear that, oh, you know what, I might get out. You know what, I might get out. You're playing Pat Cummins and Mitchell Starc. And look, boss, that last 25 minutes, you know what? I was praying that Australia should not get all out for 170. I was literally praying, play 10 more overs. Play 10 more overs, get 15 more runs. Don't get too many, get 15 more runs. India shouldn't play 1 hour. If you played 1 hour under the lights with that pink ball 4 down, 3 down, inevitable. Whoever bats, trust me, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Starc, and Josh Hazelwood, they will create chances. So it's not easy. Having said that, I think Prithvi Shaw has fear.
Deep, sorry, you got cut out. You were. Let's finish.
I'm just saying that that's something that he needs to work on. Because when you're a handsy batsman, you have to pick the line. You have to pick the movement better than anyone, like say someone like a Pujara maybe, or someone. So you have to, or for that matter, Virat. I mean, he gets behind the line. So as somebody with that kind of technique, you have to pick those lines. And obviously, mentally there could be an issue, and that plays a huge part. But also, from a very technical perspective, I think he needs to get it going.
Right. All right. So we've got another question. This one's for you, Boryada. We've got Aaron asking, I really want to know the role of the fielding coach in all these teams. I have never seen India drop so many catches in the last 10, 15 years on any of the tours.
Okay. Now, let's be clear here. R. Sridhar has been the fielding coach of this team for the last 4 years. Okay. Now, last year or year before, what did you say? You said India is the best fielding team in the world. All of us said that after a point. We did. So overnight, the fielding coach doesn't become a bad coach. Okay. And having known R. Sridhar, no one's defending Team India. The catching has been spectacularly abominable. There is no two ways about it. It's a joke. It's a joke, the way India has dropped dollies, sitters. I mean, we had spoken about it even in the white ball format. But, and what is the solution to that? Both of our experts who have played international cricket will tell you, practice and more practice. Sridhar is one of those drill masters, practice and more practice. But even your better fielders have dropped. Ravi Jadeja, Virat Kohli. These are top quality international fielders who have dropped catches. So that is a little baffling, but you've got to get it sorted. But having said that, just don't attack the coach. There is more to it because this same coach got you to be one of the best fielding sides in the world.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we got another question. We got Rahul Singh asking, what about the low order failure from India and not taking the tail enders? That has also been a problem with India. I think both sides. The India has not been trailing; they've been tailing for a while. Deep.
Well, as far as batting is concerned, it is what it is. I mean, listen, you have Shami, Bumrah. They are the biggest disappointment last couple of years has been Ashwin, to be honest. I mean, Ashwin is a proper batsman. Ashwin is somebody who's got test hundreds here. So obviously he can bat. There's no two ways about it. So his performance with the bat has been a little bit of a disappointment last couple of years. Apart from that, you don't expect much from Bumrah. Shami might come and hit a few sixes or fours. But that's all you can. I mean, even Umesh, for that matter, he can give you a few sixes, big hits. But the biggest concern is the other way around. Is India getting out the opposition, the tail enders, and it's nothing new. We lost the England series because of that. Vokes getting 100, Sam Curran, we couldn't get him out the whole series. So I mean, that's something that we really, really need to look into, trying to get rid of the last 3-4 batsmen in the opposition, because that's costed us series before. That's costed us test matches before. And one of the things I reckon, I don't know, Pragyan would be in a better position to tell you, but maybe at times I think we try too much, because if, for example, if your strike rate is 40, let's say 40, that means you get a wicket after every 40 deliveries. So those 39 other deliveries are as important as the 40th one. So the idea is you're not going to wicket every delivery, right? So you have to maybe just my feeling that at times I think our bowlers try a little too much, and in that process maybe give away a few 2 runs as well.
Yeah, in fact, our entire comment section, Pragyan, your words on it, our entire comment section is actually talking about the issues of India with the tail enders. Here's a comment by Himanshu saying India has to think of getting the tail early. Lead could have been 80, 90 if they had not opened the field for Tim Payne.
I think that's quite evident. You go to England, you go to Australia, you go to New Zealand. That's where the difference is. Those guys, the tail enders, they get those crucial runs, and that's where we lose out on 20-25 runs. That's where someone like R. Ashwin is important. Someone like Umesh Yadav is important. Jasprit Bumrah now, the way he's batting. You have to make them believe. That's what Gary Kirsten used to tell us. He always used to tell us, whenever the team is batting, it's not the batsmen and the tail enders. It's the 11. They all are batsmen. That's what, you have to tell them. You have to give them a very straight message. And, that's how their preparation should be. Once you're prepared, I remember, with those short distance, with those tennis rackets and tennis ball, Gary Kirsten used to make me and Ishant Sharma bat, with those bounces and all. He used to get us used to those leaving those bounces and all. So something we need to do, because that's what all the other teams are doing. And when a trend is set, everybody has to follow. If you have to win championship, that's what you have to do. You have to see where your weaknesses are. You have to address them. And here, as you said, a Mitchell Stark today got out because it was a pink ball. Had it been a red ball cricket, you would have seen, their tail ender getting those few extra runs. That's where, India has always been little behind when you talk about others. That's the reason, Ravindra Jadeja was always crucial for us. So if Ashwin starts getting those runs, and, someone like Umesh, because they're capable of, Umesh can bat, and Jasprit Bumrah can bat. So I think that's where the difference will be created. And when you're talking about Aussies, yes, getting them out. But, at times, it's a very tricky situation. As a bowler, I know, when you're bowling to tail enders, at times you tend to attack more, because that's when, your captain, your keeper, everybody, they try and tell you that, you need to get this out early. And the best way is when a set batsman is batting, you just give him that single, you open out that field a little bit, so that the non-striker who's not set, the tail ender, he can come onto the strike, and he faces more delivery than the man who's been playing, we're talking about Tim Paine.
Tim Paine. Yeah, yeah. All right, Burda, we've got a question here, and I'll take you back a little to India's approach early this morning. We've got Satyajit asking, Burda, what about Saha's dismissal in the first innings today? Had he been more cautious, then the total and the lead would have been more.
Was a bad shot. Was a very bad shot. I mean, outside of 7 stump chasing, getting out, when you've done reasonably well last night, you've played that tricky way. I mean, Ridhiman didn't have a good day. Compared to Ridhiman standards, that catch that went under his gloves, Ridhiman has taken such catches ahead of first slip. Batting, it was an underwhelming day. So yes, I mean, you expected last night also when we did our show, we said, these guys are capable of 270, 275, and now you realize how important the 270, 275 could have been. And, while we are talking about tail-enders, give some credit to Jasprit Bumrah. That attitude in the last 3 overs, he played, I think, 11 balls or 12 balls. The 12 balls that he actually played is worth in gold. You could have been 2 more down there. Jasprit Bumrah, by playing it out, and you saw the reaction of the Indian dugout, they were sitting inside. You understand how important that was. He was getting behind the line, and he set it up for the batsman. He set it up for Kohli, Pujara, Rahane, Vihari, and of course Mayank Agarwal already out there. So, I thought that attitude by Jasprit Bumrah should be seen by a Shami, by a Umesh Yadav, and by some of these guys, because as Pragyan said, every run matters. You get me a 10, you get me a 15. And when we are talking about bowlers not being able to pick, Tim Paine was dropped. Mitchell Stark was dropped. I thought Nathan Lyon also was dropped once. Come on, India has dropped, I think, 8 catches today. If you do that, you suffer. Fact is, India had a great day. If someone told any of us, we'll be 244 all out and we'll bowl Australia out for 190, 100 times out of 100, every Indian cricket fan would have put his hand up and said, really? So let's give credit to this team for what they've done in the first 2 days. All you need is a 275 lead. I think with this bowling attack, you will get it. Whether it is Smith, whether it is Labuschagne, whoever, I don't care. Under the lights against the pink ball, trust me, you will struggle, whoever you are.
Yeah.
I'll just add a little bit with Boria. Obviously Bumrah was brave. He was, it was sportsman spirit. But if you see the long run, and especially under lights, I would differ a bit, because I feel Bumrah with the ball is a bigger asset than going out there and batting. I would have not sent him. Maybe I would have sent somebody else, but not Bumrah, because he's your number 1 bowler. And facing those 10 to 15 minutes, there is a chance where I was closely watching. I have spoken to few fast bowlers when they tour abroad. They have that extra, those hard kind of, I know something, they put it on their toes. That's where, those Yorkers and then good equipments that they use. Because, those injuries can cost you series, and especially someone like Bumrah. Same I used to ask Zahir Khan, Ishan Sharma, that's when they used to go into bat, they used to check if everything is fine. So that was one concern which I thought maybe, because it's Bumrah, we have got another 3 test matches to go, and we, as a team, he is very important for us.
Yeah, Deep, you agree?
Bumrah coming out, I agree. I mean, I'll tell you why I agree is because I think he's defensively, he's your best option, unless you want to send Ashwin. That's a different thing. If you're sending Ashwin, I have no issues. But apart from Ashwin, if you look at the last 4 batsmen and you say, who can see, the whole concept of a night watchman is to protect the batsman who's out there and also protect the batsman who's supposed to come after that. Right. So if you're looking at the defensive technique, I'd pick Bumrah over the other. I understand what Pragyan is saying. You're also protecting Bumrah, the bowler, against any injuries that might happen. But maybe if Ashwin, I would have actually asked Ashwin, if he'd want to go and bat. as a night watchman. I mean, even though I think he's a proper batsman, he's good enough to be a proper batsman. But yeah, I mean, I'm all right with Bumrah going in and batting.
Okay. Well, you got a question from Ridul Batra. While Boreda has already answered his question. His question is: third day of Test match is a moving day. So, how much do you think will be enough for Australia batting in fourth innings? I think Boreda gave us a figure of 275. What about you, gentlemen? Pragyan, Deep?
Don't tell me 400 because we are not going to get it. I mean, so none of us should be as greedy as that.
Come on, guys.
Give us a figure.
I'll go first, and I'm happy with the 275. I mean, obviously, as Boria mentioned, more the merrier. Could be 400, 500, 600. While we are at it, we can get whatever we want. But realistically, I think 275 looks good. This pitch, by the way, is playing a little too pace now. If you look at the ball which got Labuschagne, that kept low. The next wicket, Cummins, that took off. So that variation, the natural variation, will only increase. This is my gut feeling. So fourth innings, it's not going to be easy. So obviously you have one of the best bowling attacks that India has in the world, plus a pitch that might misbehave a little more. I think 275 should be good.
275 again? What about you, Pragyan?
For me, 275 is luxury. Looking at this Australian batting lineup, I say 240 will be like, they'll be under tremendous pressure.
No.
Because fourth innings, Ashwin is not going to let them breathe. And these three fast bowlers, remember, and they have to play even in the evening as well. So it's not going to be there. I'm telling you, 270 is luxury. Every run is like 2 or 3 runs in this pink test match.
But just all three of you, to be honest, were you a little surprised with Australia's batting approach? I mean, they were 80 in the 40th over, 80 for 2, 80 for 4 or whatever it was. But 40 overs, 79 for 4, if I'm not wrong. I mean, I don't know what you guys make of that.
I'd say absence
I
of
think I was
Warner.
not surprised. I was not surprised. I knew this is how they're going to bat because our bowlers are brilliant. They may not be 6-footers or 6.5 footers, but the way these three guys were bowling, they were bowling on stump that corridor, fourth stump. They were just attacking there, and Ashwin was brilliant. First day coming and bowling the way he was bowling. These 4 guys were phenomenal. That's what I felt. And I think Australian team was losing that spark in their batting.
Yeah. I think the chink in the armor. I think the absence of Warner is sort of getting highlighted. What do you think, Burida?
100%. I mean, with Warner, if in good batting conditions during the day, basically when Australia came out, that was the best session, right? That one and the next one. It's the day session. So he had good batting conditions. Matty Wade, it was the first time he was ever opening in first-class cricket. So obviously you understand that's a makeshift combination. Joe Barnes has no confidence whatsoever. In the 2 tour games, he's been bunny of to Umesh and some of the others. So that opening combination is as bad as perhaps Prithvi Shaw's form. So don't give Australia any extra points there. And rightly, Pragyan said 240 deep and I said 270. My ideal scenario, India gets out for 225 in this innings with 1 hour to go tomorrow evening. 14 to 15 overs against Australia, they will be 3 down.
Okay. That's quite a prediction. All right, we've got one last question before we close the show. We've got Arun Kumar saying, guys, Bumrah, Shami, Stark, Cummins. Who has impressed you more in this test match so far? That's the question.
We'll answer this in 2 days' time. Let the game get over.
All right, Pragyan.
Pragyan's got an answer.
Umesh Yadav.
Oh, none of the above. It's Umesh Yadav.
Because I'll tell you. See, when you are not the favorite, when people are talking about is he going to be a third bowler or somebody else, you're in that space, and then coming out and bowling your heart out and getting those crucial wickets, it really speaks about your character. And this man, I believe this will be a turnaround for him, and he'll just uh, be brilliant for our side, the way Bumrah and Shami have been.
See,
Yes,
if I may
yes,
add, I completely agree with Pragyan, because you know what Shami can do, you know
Yes.
what Bumrah can do, you know what Ravichandran Ashwin can do. So he's the fourth wheel in that car, if I may say so, and obviously under pressure from his past performances in Australia, where a lot of people still say, and maybe rightly so as well, that he gave away too many boundary deliveries. So he came into bowl after those amazing spells from all these three. So I mean that's a pressure in itself. So yeah, completely agree with Pragyan. It was very, very impressive how Umesh kind of bowled the whole of today.
If I
Yep.
can say, he started it. In his first 7, he gave
Yeah,
7. So that
yeah,
opening
true,
spell, he didn't let Matty Wade and Joe Burns run away with it.
true.
See, 4 things happened for India today. One, Ravichandran Ashwin best overseas performance, perhaps in Australia. Umesh Yadav doing exactly what Deepan Pragyan said, no need to add. Number 3, and extremely important again, I mean, this whole, the way the team rallied, you got a run out in, everyone contributed despite the drop catches, you bowled Australia out for 190. And number 4, Cheteshwar Pujara, 2.5 feet jump at slips, that spot jump to take that last catch. Come on, man. This is now a team performance in every possible way. Everyone has, except Prithvi Shaw, who by the way got that run out in, everyone's playing a part. Have you looked at that intensity? Look
Yeah.
at the body language. Look at the body language. Bumrah batting, the dugout jumping and cheering. They know how important it is. So you get a 225, and somehow Deepkan, and yeah, time is up. The moment Steve Smith got out, I thought Australia was under pressure. Australia just were like, what's going on here? Yes, Tim Payne played very well, but this Indian team, even after Kohli goes away, this is going to be a series where India will be competitive.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. But thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for joining in and for your comments. Well, that's all the time we had, guys. Thank you for so much for all your comments. I see that our comment section is buzzing, so I hope you guys are liking our content. Of course, you know where we are. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can just type in or just below this particular video on YouTube your comments and feedback about the kind of content we've been creating. Tomorrow's a new day, and we'll see you post.